G'day everyone, how you doing? Today we're going to be cooking a dish from the veggies that you've got from your 24 carat gardens that you're growing at home, which is really exciting. Okay guys, so we're going to go through our list of ingredients to make the Spanish omelette, the tortilla. Obviously our focus is on these beautiful veggies that you guys have been growing in your gardens. So this is the 24 carat project, which is amazing. So we're going to be using the ruby chard and the spinach in this recipe, okay? Also, onions sliced, potatoes diced. Now it's pretty important to make sure that it's a small dice, otherwise they'll take a little bit longer to cook. Eggs, great source of protein. Cheese, now we've got a cheddar cheese and a feta cheese. You can either use both of them or one of them, doesn't really matter. But what I'd like you to do is also buy blocks of cheese and grate it. It's really important. Let's not buy grated cheese. First of all these veggies that we're going to be using, obviously coming out of your garden, so it's super important to know what to do with them. First of all, let's pick them when you're going to use them. Don't pick them and leave them in the fridge for a couple of days because they'll just go horrible. And it's super important also, okay, now they've obviously been in the soil, so we need to wash them. When you pick your veggies, down here at the stems you're going to get bits of dirt and bits of grain. We don't want to be eating that, so we're going to give everything, you know, these have been washed. I'll show you, just get it in there and give them a good wash. And shake them out. So these have all been washed. You'll see that. You can also feel a bit if they're gritty, they're going to get some grit on there. Now, when we're prepping the greens, you can use your hands if you want to pull them off. That's pretty. Keep the stems because we'll cut those and we can use those, or you can get a knife and we can just cut them down like that. So we've got our, you know, the beautiful leaf, and that's going to be sautéed later. But then we're going to chop these up like this, and so that they're going to go through, when we cook the onions, we're going to put them in there as well. So I'll just put those aside for now, and we'll get them done. Potatoes, dice. I'm not going to go through the whole thing too much, but easy way, you know, you obviously got a round vegetable there. Good thing is to take the bottom piece off so that it's flat, so that then you've got something that you can work with. So you can cut like that, and then cut across, and then you're going to have your dice. Yeah. Try and keep everything even, because then it's going to cook evenly. So when you're doing things, you don't want to have some things cooking before the other things are. So I'll put them aside there. Onion, look, you know, I know you guys all know how to deal with your onions, but once again, let's try and keep it even, so that when we're cooking it, so nice for sautéing, because we're going to be sautéing the potatoes and the onions a bit later on together. Garlic, I just like getting a knife and giving it a good squash. Really breaks that up, and that's instant minced garlic, beautiful. So that's all going to be going in the fry pan together. That really, apart from grating your cheese and breaking a few eggs, is all the prep that you're going to need to do. So this is super fast. Okay guys, so we're over here now. We've got our ingredients that we're going to cook. Getting this pan nice and hot on the stove is really important. That when we're cooking that, we want to start off with a nice warm pan. And we're also going to be cooking these onions. Now this is going to take, we're going to cook these onions for about 5 minutes, because what we want to do is we want to get all the flavour out, all the sugar out of the onions, which makes them nice and sweet. So it's natural sweetness. Now I'm going to get these potatoes in here. Now, so I've diced up a couple of potatoes, but that's for this recipe that I'm showing you. You know, we probably need 1.5 potatoes, 2 potatoes, and we're just going to move them all around. Now, turn that down a bit. Now this process here is where you need a little bit of patience, because we've got those raw potatoes. We need them to start that cooking process so they're not raw when we make the omelette. So we're just going to let them now for the next 5 minutes. We're just going to keep moving them around and saute off these potatoes. Okay, so we've been sauteing these off now. That's 5 minutes, and Oh, they smell good. You can really smell that onion cooking through there. The potatoes are nice and tender. You can just sort of test one. You can see that it's actually tender, so that's great. And now I'm going to just add a little chili. So I like chili. And this is a little coriander and cumin. Just a little bit. Doesn't need too much, but I think it's actually just gives it a little lift. So I'll put a little bit more. And the reason that I put that in now and not at the beginning is I just don't want to burn those spices while we're cooking off those veggies. At that point, we're ready to go with the stems. So we've got all those beautiful stems of that rainbow chard and stuff like that, and how good does that look? And we'll saute those for a minute. They will they'll hold and they'll stay nice and crunchy, which is delicious. And then I've got the big greens. Now these will just take a little bit to wilt down. You could do these separately. You could just do this separately in another pan. But just for today, I'm just going to do that all together. And what you'd normally do with, you could chop them up a little bit more too if you wanted to. But what we're going to do today is, I'm going to give you two options to cook this in the oven. You potentially could do, well, you know, normally what you do is you pour your egg on that with your cheese and you put the whole pan in the oven. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a smaller pan, and we're also going to use some little muffin tins so that, you know, you guys can, you know, when you cook these, they're also fantastic to take cold for school lunches. So the kids can, you know, not only you can have them for dinner or lunch or whatever, but the kids can take them in their lunch for school the following day. Just keep them in the fridge overnight and they'll be delicious. So we're just going to cook that down, and when these greens have nicely wilted, we will then work our egg into it. Now what we're going to do, so there's a couple of things going on here. So what I've done is we've obviously used the big pan, but we don't need, like if we were doing one omelette, we would just put the eggs in that pan. But we want to make these into our little lunch treats for the kids for tomorrow. So we're just going to fill them up with those beautiful veggies, and then so we've got two different options there. Rightio, so these will become the little ones for the kids, and then we're going to bake this one here, thinking that we'd already done all that work in there before. So now we've obviously got our eggs, cracking the eggs into this bowl here. Bit of a whisk, fork's fine. And that's just going to go across there. Now, what we might do here is we're going to crumble our feta over the top of this omelette here, and I'm going to put some on here. Don't need to use the feta, you can use just the cheddar, that's fine. I think we should use both because I think it's delicious. I know the kids will certainly like that. So we're just going to put that on there. And then it's as simple as, well, I'm trying to make too much of a mess, but we're just going to put our egg into here. If this was hot, it'll start cooking straight away. We're just going to let that get to the bottom of our pan, and we'll just fill up these little muffins. I know you can't see that, sorry. I'll just show you this way. Okay, so they're in there. Just make sure it's all, you've got egg coming all the way around. And these are ready to go in the oven. So the fry pan, I reckon we're going to be taking about 25 minutes. So I've set the oven and it's been preheated to 180 degrees, and that's going to be about 20-25 minutes in the oven. We'll check the our little ones, they'll be a little bit quicker. So, you know, 15 to 20 minutes, so they'll go into the oven. Here we go. So they've just come out of the oven. them both over here. Now it's good, like these are old muffin pans, so you just need to get a little knife, just make sure that they're not stuck around the outside. These are a little bit, that's okay. The same with the big one. Now, I like to let them sit just for a few minutes, just so that they just sort of come together a little bit. And then, we're just going to put it on the plate. So we've just, this one here is just, we're just going to pop it out. Obviously that's going to feed a few people. Delicious. And then we'll get these ones here. Now these, if you let them sit for a little bit longer, if they're stuck, it'll just help, they'll just sort of set a little bit, so it makes it a little bit easier. But there you go. So you can imagine that tomorrow for the kids for lunch. That's terrific, yeah? Like everything that they need for a good lunch. So here we go, our first recipe, 24 Karat Gardens challenge. Our beautiful winter greens, our spinach and potato tortilla. That was a lot of fun, really simple to do. Here you go. I'd eat that.